This is the Criterion Creeps podcast, and tonight we're talking about Hopscotch from 1980, directed by Ronald Neame. The tagline for the film, "The most dangerous man in the world. He's about to expose the CIA, the FBI, the KGB, and himself." When CIA operative Miles Kendig deliberately lets KGB agent Yaskov get away, his boss threatens to retire him. Kendig beats him to it, however, destroying his own records and traveling to Austria, where he begins work on a memoir that will expose all his former agency's covert practices. The CIA catches wind of the book and sends other agents after him, initiating a frenetic game of cat and mouse that spans the globe.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does, I guess.
There's some globe trotting.
It's pretty descriptive, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's accurate.
Yeah. So, RJ, this was my maiden voyage on that Criterion channel.
Really, it was mine also. I popped that son of a bitch on the Amazon Fire Stick. I let her rip, and I'm happy to say there were no issues.
Yep, me too.
You too?
Me no issues.
You were skeptical, for sure.
Well, I had some friends that had some issues apparently, but they were.
What was their medium or like their device?
Using their iPad and just like trying to like HDMI plug it into their TV. Oh. And they're like, it's not working because of like DRM crap. And it's like I don't know anything about that business, but
no, neither do I.
Yeah, and you know, the invasion of having Amazon Alexa in your house. Good times.
Oh yeah, but you have to press the button.
Oh yeah, wink, wink.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's when you hear the wink. Did you make sure you went and turned off all your privacy settings so that they can't just like collect your data?
No.
That's no one.
What are they? Are you telling me that they're gonna see that I searched up Danny DeVito naked like 6 times yesterday?
Well, they already have.
And they're hearing it again for a second time now?
That's right. They're listening to this podcast.
I got nothing to hide. I don't give a shit. Bring it on.
Anyway.
Yeah?
So, Hopscotch.
Hopscotch.
I was not looking forward to watching this movie because... Really? Well, okay. Because this movie's directed by Ronald Neame, who directed Horse's Mouth with Alec Guinness. And that movie was not very good. And so I was like, oh man, a 1980s comedy from the same guy. This is going to be shitty. And RJ, I'm glad to report that I was wrong. And this movie is quite a charming affair.
You got that right.
It's got that right feel of like it feels more like a 70s movie because it was probably actually shot in 1979. And yeah, it's got goddamn Ned Beatty, who is just dropping F-bombs left and right all day long. It's got Sam, was it Sam McCoy, Law and Order, Sam Waterston. Yeah, being the nice guy, CIA man. And America's finest treasure, Walter Matthau, stars in this movie. I don't know if there's like I don't know. There's not.
Wait, did you call him America's treasure?
Yeah.
That's Oh no, I was gonna say John Goodman, but he's America's sweetheart.
Yeah, there's
a subtle difference there. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And then Mel Gibson's God's gift to man.
No, Mel Gibson is the fallen son.
Oh, okay.
And then Brad Dourif is God's fake son.
Yeah. See,
these are subtle differences, but if you don't get them right, I will leave the podcast.
This is the pantheon.
This is what we are dealing with on a daily basis. Well,
here we now mint Walter Matthau as America's finest treasure.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay, for sure.
Yeah, so this movie, it's a spy movie, which I'm also generally not a fan of. And this is a comedy spy movie. So it's like, ooh, that's like 2 strikes. But unlike some comedies, this one's actually pretty charming. Pretty sweet. And Walter Matthau, man, that guy could turn a phrase. He takes all these lines of dialogue, and man, if he just says stuff, and it's goddamn hilarious. He has that I don't know what his accent is actually. I don't know where he grew up, but he has this particular manner of speaking.
He's American, Jarrett.
But what part of America?
Okay, well, it doesn't say on his letterbox because I don't know why, but why don't I check it out while you continue to talk about things? Hey, Jared, did you ever know that he is from New York, New York?
That sounds about right.
in Creeptober 1st, 1920. And he died at the ripe young age of 80 on July 1st of 2000.
Good
Such
God.
a shame.
So long ago now.
It is,
It's
yeah.
going to be 20 years right away. Yeah, I should have
Oh.
guessed the New York thing. One
Yeah,
thing,
you
of course,
should.
but it's like it's kind of like a more like even more Easterner kind of flavor to it, like
Yeah, he just has an accent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but every line he reads, it just sounds that much funnier because he just, oh hi there.
Oh,
where you
hi.
s-
I don't remember you being so short.
Yep. There's the one line that I think I sent to you while watching this about, are you some kind of wine salesman?
Are you a wine salesperson?
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite was when he meets Ned Betty and he's like, I don't remember you being so short. Were you always such a short person? And it's just like it's awesome. The delivery on that line is terrific.
Yeah.
But keep going about Walter Matthau and how he is one of the greatest men we've ever had.
Well, yeah, as we talked about in the
Or whatever.
or as you talked about in the preamble, you
Mhm.
you got caught up on some Walter Matthau, some Failsafe, some Dennis the
Yep.
Menace.
Very different degrees of Walter
Yeah.
Matthau, from like super serious and intimidating and failsafe to probably one of his best performances, and I think in still critically acclaimed film, Dennis the Menace. So,
Mhm.
yeah, he is out. He's got range, Jarrett. He can do it all.
Yeah.
He can do it all.
So this is a spy movie. Opens up. It's
Yes, it is.
it's Oktoberfest, and he's doing that spy thing, taking pictures, and then there's some agenting, and like guys know who's who, and they're talking very straightforward and talking out the side of their mouths, all the usual kind of tropes of it. And then the movie kind of shifts down gears, and it's like, why did you just let that guy walk away? Why didn't you kill him? Why didn't you do your job? And
Good
he's like,
question.
well, I don't roll that way. We find out over the course of the movie that if he carries a gun, there's no bullets in it, and he only uses an empty gun to basically get the same effect over because he doesn't want to actually kill anybody. He's beyond that. He's like
He's elevated.
yeah, he's like a monk almost. He's that level of chillness. And he's going to prove a point to his superiors and the young scamp CIA agents, and he sets them on a wild goose chase because he's decided to get back at them for basically shunning him off to like a back room. He's just going to quit instead, and he's going to write a book, and he's going to tell the world just how incompetent the whole spy community is, which also leads to them wanting to silence him one way or another. And that's the comedy, is all the different sort of it's like not this like laugh out loud, oh my god, I'm dying laughing watching Hopscotch, but it's just like, no, this movie's like so charming.
Yeah.
And one thing, it's like, it looks like a 70s thriller in a lot of ways. It has the look and clothing that I love, and I felt like I'm right at home watching like Network. But instead it's Hopscotch. This also, though, RJ, I don't know, I'm going to throw this out there. This feels like an extremely uncriterion film.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I was watching this, and just to agree, like, just to say up front, I actually really like this too. But I was watching it, and I was like, I don't really know what was Criterion about this, because it reminded me of Charade quite a bit, but at the same time, I was like, I think Charade had more going for it, like in terms of all that was put together.
Sure.
But like, I like this too, and I guess you could say the same for Charade. It's like, I don't know if Charade is even that much of a Criterion movie. Maybe, I don't know.
I'd say sure, because it's got some style to it, whereas Hopscotch is very like it feels exactly like a lot of movies did in 1980. Like it feels representative of the era rather than a movie that stands out, and that's not a bad thing. Like this feels like something that like Kino Studio Classics would put out now, and it's like someone's favorite movie they watched one matinee or something like that. So it's really like unexpected coming across this movie and being like, this is actually like a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It was really refreshing, especially after Ratcatcher week and before next week's action-paced sci-fi film. It was just like, man, what a nice fun movie to just enjoy. That was how I felt. I was like, I'm just having a good time with this thing. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Some facts for you, RJ.
Ooh,
So
girl.
this screenplay is based on a novel
Mm-hmm.
by a guy named Brian Garfield. Are you
Okay.
aware of Brian Garfield as a novelist?
I know Garfield, the cat
Yeah.
who loves
Well,
lasagna.
Brian Garfield, he wrote a novel that
Okay.
called Death Wish that, that
Uh,
that went
oh,
on that went on to become the Charles Bronson vehicle we all know and love.
what about Garfield the cat?
That's Jim Davis's terrain, his
Okay.
his domain.
Different
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
hey?
Then he wrote Death Sentence, which
Mhm.
became the Kevin Bacon vehicle that we all know and love. And yeah, the Hopscotch novel, it won the Edgar Award for Best Novel of the Year. So I guess
Of what
there's
year?
a 1975,
There wasn't much competition that year, though.
maybe. I'll take your word for it.
Trust me.
You seem to know your stuff.
If you say something with confidence, no one will challenge you.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
this is like for a movie that I enjoyed this much. It's kind of a tough one to talk about. This movie
Yeah.
really typifies the shaggy dog story that people say
Mhm.
that term a lot, and I don't know if they ever use it accurately. But this movie,
What does it mean to you?
to me, it means hopscotch. It's just this movie that kind of it's just like this like unending kind of version of one story about like one central premise, and it just kind of keeps going and going and going, and
Mhm.
there's no real direction to it, and you feel like and then but then this happens, and then that kind of to me is this vibe, and that's what this movie has.
Yeah.
You know, it's like no one's ever going to get killed. No one's like life's really on the line. Everyone's kind of
Mhm.
like again, everything's okay, even though it's like, hey, they're gonna put a bullet in your head, and it's like, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. And he tells the audience, yeah, don't stress the small
Yeah,
stuff.
don't be.
Yeah, don't be worried about
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And you get
Oh, were you done?
I don't know, and then you just get to hang out
Oh.
with old Walter and his lovely face, his great
Mm-hmm.
demeanor. He has to shack up, and of course it's like great because in the James Bond film you get the nice big sexy seduction scene. Here
Ooh.
we have Glenda Jackson and Walter. They hook up, but like the next thing you see, she's in bed and he's like going to get breakfast in bed for her, and he's just wearing like
Mm-hmm.
a t-shirt and pajamas because it's like, well, yeah, it's like a country house. It's probably a little chilly
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so real. It's just like real life. And then windows open. He's like, "What the fuck?" She's like,
Mhm.
"I didn't open that window. What's going on here?" It doesn't. I don't think the movie tries to be like more than is possible in the realm of people and like things that normal people do, because it doesn't seem like that. They're just like hanging out, and it's not like they're like old people. They don't meet up and just like bone down real hard all the time. When they meet up, like one of my favorite things in this, she's like, "You want to go get some food?" He's like, "What about like some ham and eggs and a beer?"
Ham and eggs.
Ham and eggs and a beer. And she's like, "All right." And then they play gin rummy for a while. And then they're like, "All right, do you want to go bone down now?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." But then it's like you said, it's nice in the next morning because he's a regular guy. He's like, "I made you some coffee. I got some croissants here for you. I put a flower in the pot."
Yeah,
It was beautiful. It was beautiful, Jarrett.
real nice.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
We got some of that classy music in this movie too. We get
What
some
kind?
of that Mozart.
yeah, that real classy as in classical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it endearing in this, where I feel like in other movies it could come off as, I don't know, pompous maybe or something like that. But
I feel like the classy music's often used in comedy, as in like
Yeah.
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, it's a nice little character feature for him that he's just like, I love opera, I love classical music.
He's a
It's
classy guy.
awesome. He's a classy guy, and I just love the way he uses it too, where he just listens to it all the time. But when he's like writing his memoirs in Ned Betty's house, and he plays the music, and then he just gets the picture of him and puts it right beside him, and he's talking to the picture. He's like, "All right, this is what we're gonna do now, buddy." He's like, "It's you and me all the way." It's such I don't know. He's so fun to watch. He's lovable. Even when he's a grumpy old man, Jarrett, he's lovable. Have you seen Grumpy Old Men yet?
I've
This was
seen.
this was your time to watch it, Jarrett.
Yeah, I know.
Because when is he ever going to come back into the Criterion?
I'm not sure.
Well, like, I don't think there's any of his like take or well, he was in Charade. Sherrod. Failsafe isn't in there. Is bigger than life or a face in the
Yes,
crowd?
it
Or
is.
either
Yes.
bigger than both?
Yes.
Okay, well, next
Wow.
time.
Yeah, actually, they both are now because Face in the Crowd just came out.
Okay, well, next time when we watch him, can you watch Grumpier Old Men, and then also Dennis the Menace?
You're going to have to hold me to it.
I will. I'll make sure you watch that, and I'll watch IQ, that movie where he plays Einstein.
Oh, IQ?
Okay. What about Roman Polanski's Pirates? That sounds fun.
Yeah, that might be okay.
I'm going to watch that. Captain Red runs a hardy pirate ship with the able assistance of Frog. Cool.
Nice. So, hey, Hopscotch, RJ.
Yeah, okay, so I really liked Hopscotch. I've mentioned a few times already. It's just, I don't know, it's really entertaining. I think it is funny, and it's not in the way that, like how you were saying, it's not like, they don't try to be like slapstick or goofy or not even over the top comedy. It's just, they don't lay it on too thick or heavy, because most of the time the movie is just about him getting back at these people. And then there are just elements of that are humorous. And I think it's so effective in the way that they use it, where it's not the focal point. Like, the humor isn't the focal point, but it comes up enough that it can be classified as a comedy. I think it sets it up so good in the intro when he, not in the scene where he meets like the Russian spy and there's all those pretzels hanging out, but when he goes to Ned Betty's office, and like the level of pettiness between the two of them, where he like comes into Ned Betty's office and he's like, I don't remember you being that short. And he's talking to him. And then in between, like in the middle of talking, Ned Betty picks up the phone, dials his wife, and then just has a personal conversation with her on the phone while Walter Matthau was talking to him. And he's like, okay. So he's like, he gets up and walks around, and then you see it's like in Ned Betty's office are pictures of Ned Betty everywhere.
Betty.
And Ned Betty? Isn't it Betty or is it Beatty?
Beatty.
Ned Betty? You know Ned Betty. Well, Ned Beatty, the guy from Deliverance, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, when it's him, Ned Beatty or Warren Beatty, are they brothers or something? They related?
No.
Doesn't matter, I guess. So anyways, it's just like pictures of him in his own office. Like, you get a really good sense immediately who he is, and then the way that they interact with each other. So I think that's awesome. I also think that Walter Matthau and the lady in this, what was her name? It's not Gladys, right? Glenda Jackson.
Yeah.
I think they have a really good chemistry together, where it's like how you were talking about how Walter Matthau has a certain delivery of his dialogue, or like just how he speaks. I think she kind of bounces that back really well, where I think they just had a really nice demeanor with each other. And I like how they don't downplay her, where Walter Matthau is talking about that lady, or he's talking about Ned Betty, and Glenda Jackson's like, oh, he was a real see you next Tuesday. And I was like, whoa. I was like, I wasn't expecting that in this fucking movie. So I like that they let her. She was kind of badass in that sense, I think, Jarrett, because she's just talking plain, but she also knows how to play ball too. She's got her big, what kind of dog is that again? You know, the Hound of the Baskerville dogs.
Okay.
What the fuck are those? Dobermans.
Doberman, yeah.
Yeah. Is that what the Hound of the Baskerville dog is? Is it a Doberman?
Isn't it? I don't.
Or is Doberman a hound dog?
Well, there's like, I don't know if it's one of those big northerner.
Or is that just
dogs.
like a general classification, like hound?
Yeah. Sure, buddy.
Jarrett, these are the hard questions that no one has answers for. That's why they come to our podcast.
That's right.
Anyways, I like that Doberman too. I thought he was cool. The only thing I didn't like was that the lady set up that guy, so the Doberman was there and like being real intimidating. But then she like leaves the country, and I was like, oh man, I was like, who's gonna watch after your dog now? And I know that normal people aren't thinking of that when they watch this movie, and you probably shouldn't. But whatever. Like I was saying, I liked how Walter Matthau was a just plain guy. He liked ham and eggs. He liked beer. I liked all of his interactions with other people, like the lady pilot, how he talked to her. Like he's not like a super dashing or charming or like attractive guy.
We get an exact quote. You seem like a nice man. You remind me of my father. And that's always been my problem.
That's always been my problem. Yeah. So like he's not like this suave debonair guy, but he is so likable, and like, so I guess he is charming. He's just not like super like dick hard handsome or anything like that. That's what the kids say now, Jarrett. Like the 18 plus like young people.
See, that's Ned Beatty's line in this film, though, is just the number of times he says "fuck" in this movie.
Fuck. Yeah, so he's great, and then this movie actually has like a ton of visual things that I just think were hilarious. Like when he's like sleeping in his car and he just has like a blanket wrapped around his head. I don't know what it was. I just thought it was really funny. Or he's like always spilling his beers around. I was like, I like that. He even has a call out. I think this is the first time yet that we have heard of the Flat Earth Society.
Oh yeah, he's gonna leave his money to the Flat Earth Society.
Leave all his money to the Flat Earth Society, which I thought this was a new thing, but apparently even in the 80s it was an object of ridicule.
Yeah.
So Unfortunately, yeah, but I did like that call out. The only thing this movie was missing was the classic Criterion Collection cuck scene. So there weren't any cucks in this.
Well, I guess like you could say that like Ned Beatty's house like is like cucking him out because Walter Matthau is living in his house.
I would say that's a bit of a stretch, and you're showing your true colors here, and people are going to pick up on that, and they're going to see what you're really like. So I'd be careful, you pervert. But yeah, all this stuff in Ned Beatty's house is awesome. I think that stuff's really funny. I really like how he pulls up Ned Beatty's picture and just puts it beside him, and he's just, like, I said that already, but it's so
with his eyes going in two different directions.
I don't know what it is. That's just, I don't know. That's the kind of humor that I really like. I was like, that's really funny. We also got a classic Ronald Neame prank call in this.
Yeah, we do. With an impersonation.
With an impersonation right out of the horse's mouth. But somehow, I think because Walter Matthau is quite a bit better person than Alec Guinness, better actor at least. I actually thought that the impersonation in this, I was like, that's fine. But it was also because it was one time. It wasn't like continuous throughout the movie.
Yeah.
You're just like, these prank calls are getting to be a little bit much.
And this movie holds your attention the entire time. Unlike
it does.
The horse's mouth.
The horse's ass. You ever heard of that one, Jarrett?
I haven't. That's new.
So I'm batting like, I don't know, over 500 for Ronald Neame because I liked the Poseidon Adventure. You're pretty warm on that, but Horse's Mouth is pretty bad. Yeah. Pretty bad. I don't know about this. Are any of his other movies in the Criterion, like Gambit?
Like from X-Men?
Yeah, from X-Men with Michael Caine and Shirley MacLaine. Gambit from X-Men?
Yeah.
Probably not. Doesn't matter. But yeah, man, I was really like not super surprised because I was in the same boat as you, where I was like, I don't know if I'll like this Hopscotch. That guy's other movie kind of stunk.
Well, RJ, the other movie of his that I've seen is The Odessa File, starring Jon Voight. And
how was that?
The only thing I remember about this goddamn movie is Corey and I watched this, and it's got this theme song to it, and it's kind of like dun 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 dun. And so from forever on, we're just like, The Odessa File. That's all we think about when that thing. It's a very like average kind of spy movie. It's actually played straight as well. It's no Hopscotch. That's what I'll say. Yeah.
That's yeah.
Gambit, cool. Gambit looks a little right bald though. That movie poster.
Do you mean the X-Men?
Go ahead.
Remy LeBeau?
Tell the end, but please don't tell the beginning. And the images of looks like Michael Caine putting on a giallo rape glove while looking at a woman who is squatting over in a short dress.
Well, we call that the Duncan pose in this side of the world.
I see.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Why?
You can assume, right?
Yeah, I can assume.
Yeah.
So hey,
But yeah. What?
old Mathau, he refused. RJ refused to film on location in Germany at the beginning there, as
Why?
he had lost many relatives in the Holocaust.
Oh, really?
And,
That's a bummer.
But apparently, old Neame was able to convince him by casting Walter Matthau's son, David, and later his stepdaughter, Lucy Saroyan. David plays the CIA agent Kendig takes prisoner after leaving Meyerson's house. And,
like the buffoon?
Yeah, well, he's just like, he's like jumped by the side of the road. And
that's Walter Matthau's son?
That is Walter Matthau's son.
Wow, what a nice little link there. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm actually going, wow. How much fun. How much fun. Hey, you know what I liked in this movie?
What?
I liked all the stuff when they were eating. Because you don't see people eat food that much in movies. But this one had a lot of people eating food. That was cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
I thought the spy games in this were actually pretty good. I was like, I like the spy stuff in here. I don't think it's like phoned in or anything like that.
How do you like the that brown face at the end?
Can you clarify what you mean by that?
Well, so the movie wraps up. Old Walter Matthau, he's faked his death, and he's in the clear. He's published his book, and it's a bestseller because books are always bestsellers in movies, and he still is like a kind of a prankster. He likes to have a little bit of fun and a little bit of risk. And he goes into a bookstore, but he's dressed up as a Sikh man, and he's very brown in it, and doing a accent. And of course, his girlfriend admonishes him for like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, whoa, what? Oh, jeez. And that's where it lies. And I'm like, to me, I'm just like, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, so I already mentioned in the preamble about the cultural appropriation in Captain Marvel that I think there's ways that are better to do it than others. In this one, I felt like it wasn't that he was making fun of it or anything. It was his just actual assumed identity now because he was pretending to be dead.
I got the sense that he was doing. I think he was just like trying out like he's a bored CIA spy.
Yeah, so he just dresses up in disguise all the time.
Yeah, so now he's just doing it for fun, and it's like it kind of gets into that.
It
gets into that territory of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia of when blackface is ever appropriate, and it gets into that Lethal Weapon 5 territory, where it's like, well, if it's convincing.
Yeah, well, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point. No, I thought it was funny. I don't know. I wasn't offended by it, but as I've mentioned before,
that is your privilege, RJ.
I'm a hetero white male that lives in North America, so well, I don't know. I thought it was funny. I liked how he played it. I didn't think it was too over the top or anything. He wasn't like, I was about to do something offensive. He wasn't like like making up words and like making up gobbledygook and then talking about like certain foods that the people eat or anything like that. He was just assuming an identity for a while. So I don't know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Hey, RJ.
Yes.
You want to hear from some people who hate this film?
Not really, because like I don't know. I had a fun time with Hopscotch. Like, it's good. I liked it. So I don't know who would dislike it. Come on.
Well, RJ, Olivia, not a fan. 1 star. I have nothing to say about this movie except that it's extremely bland and so boring that I fell asleep during it, and that was only partially due to the fact that I was tired. Lol. A very dull snore of a movie. Just a little sleeping pun.
You know what she didn't think were snores?
What?
Basically every animated movie ever. 5 stars to Brother Bear, which we've been called before. Treasure Planet, every single Land Before Time, the Rugrats movies, all the Lion King's movies, Princess and the Frog, the Lorax. But here's another one, Jarrett. You ever heard of a movie called Call Me By Your Name? So in between all the animated movies that are 5 stars, also Call Me By Your Name. But even more upsetting, when we get to half-star movies, Space Jam. That's weird, because she likes animated movies so much. But here's some real weird ones. Who Framed Roger Rabbit a half a star. Very bizarre.
Whoa.
Forrest Gump and There Will Be Blood, half stars.
Okay, well, on one of those, I strongly disagree.
Which one? Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
There Will Be Blood.
She also gave half a star to The Waterboy.
Huh?
It's weird. It's weird.
Wade.
How do you spell that?
Wahdey.
Classic.
A dull and disengaging spy comedy with basic performances and a stale script.
Is that it?
That's it. Like these are pretty uninspired pieces of dismissal.
Yeah. They like a lot of Criterion movies, but they also gave The Room 5 stars, which I understand is ironic, but they also just gave Us 5 stars, which is not good. But like, I don't know. Mostly just Criterions, and then their half-star movies are kind of what you would expect. Naked Lunch is in there, which I wasn't actually a big fan of, but I don't think it's a half-star movie.
And finally, Josh, 2 stars.
Josh who? Frazier?
Just Josh.
Just Josh? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Felt like burn after reading, but without the Coen's touch. A lot of it was underwhelming, but pleasantly easy to watch. I guess it wouldn't have the Coen's touch, as they did not make this film.
Well, no, they didn't direct it, and they weren't. Were they making movies yet?
Not yet.
1980?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, so that's probably part of it.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with that too.
This person has a lot of like animated movies, and they're 5 stars as well. But there's like all the Mission Impossibles and 8th Grade and like some X-Men movies, but a lot of their favorite films are just all Kevin Costner movies.
Well, what a coincidence.
Which is weird, I think. But some 1-star movies to Criterions, like Gimme Shelter with Nail and I, Sorority Babes at the Slimeball Bowl-orama. That's not a 1-star movie. We talked about that on the podcast.
We have.
Pretty good show. I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is, Jarrett. What's the problem, Jarrett?
It's these people's problems.
It is their problem.
Well, RJ, I don't know. I feel like this was like a low energy review for a movie that's actually pretty good, but it's hard to like pinpoint the charm of it because it's just like it's a movie that people should 100% check out. I think it's
for sure.
I think it's a actual hidden treasure. Much like Walter Matthau. I mean, he's an obvious treasure, but I think this is a secret gem.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. Yeah, we haven't like been heaping praise onto it like we have with other high quality Criterions that surprised us, but like no, it's really good. I liked Hopscotch a lot. It's just kind of exactly what you said. It's kind of hard to pin down the charm of the thing. Yeah, but
you gotta see it.
You do got to see it, man. It's and I mean now with that Criterion channel,
exactly.
There's no reason not to.
If you got that Criterion channel, you don't have an excuse anymore. And now,
make sure to tag us when you tell Criterion channel that you watched Hopscotch for some reason. Mm-hmm. Is that a thing? Can you tag things on things that you watch?
Not using the channel, but definitely on social media.
Just direct all of your attention. Like Twitters and Instagrams to them and be like, hey, did you know that this was covered on the Global Phenom podcast? Yep. International success, the Criterion Creeps?
Yeah, that's right. True. And next week we're going intergalactic.
Ooh, what a fucking what is that called? Transition.
Yeah. Well, more on that after the break. While we're getting there, we're faking our deaths. But I'm not. I'm faking my death. RJ's going to be in the plane that crashes and dies.
Yeah, but who's going to be worse off, though? Because after that, you're going to be in brown face. You're going to be in Sikh face. Which one's worse, man?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd make better choices than Kendig did there. But who am I to say?
I doubt it. I doubt it.